Hey guys, this is Venom, and thanks to the guys at Gigabyte, I've managed to get my hands on a Gigabyte G1 Gaming GTX 1060. Now before I get started, a big thank you to Avirup for sending us this review piece, and an even bigger thank you to Nishant for helping me make this video. The GTX 1060 by Gigabyte is a budget to mid-range graphics card, and this segment has always been popular amongst gamers for their price to performance results, and so we'll put this card to the test. The box brags Gigabyte's wind force cooling technology, the copper heat pipes that directly touch the GPU, and customizable RGB lighting options. This card is designed to be very user friendly to overclock with the use of the Gigabyte software that can be downloaded separately. Now before we jump into the benchmarks, let's take a look at what the card has to offer in terms of specs. It has 6 GB of GDDR5 memory and a 192-bit memory interface running on a base clock of 1620 MHz. This beast is one hell of a card to play games on. So what sets this specific card apart from the plethora of aftermarket PCB designs that exist for the 1060? Well, there's the cooler, which is a dual fan system, Gigabyte's wind force technology, which keeps the card relatively cool, allowing you to overclock the card on air cooling to a boost clock of 1847 MHz. And then there's the backplate. This particular 1060 comes with a very sturdy backplate that not only adds to the protection of the card but also provides additional support. It keeps the card rigid while inserted into your motherboard, and the entire card will take up to 2 slots of your cabinet's GPU slots. Sadly though, the card does not support SLI, but that's not a huge problem since the card plays quite well with today's games on its own. In terms of display outputs, you get one DVI port, one HDMI port, and 3 display ports 1.2, so multi-monitor setups will not be a problem whatsoever. The card comes with an 8-pin connector which is needed for the extra power for the overclock, and comes with a white LED light that indicates if the power isn't reaching the card properly. When it comes to temperatures, this card runs fairly cool, with an idle temperature of 49 degrees Celsius and temperatures under load rising to 69 degrees Celsius. Now on to the part that we've all been waiting for, the benchmarks. The specs for the PC used to benchmark the card can be found in the description of the video. We started off with a Unigine Heaven test for our benchmark, which was giving us an average 60 FPS, though lowest FPS being around 45 FPS and the highest around 75 FPS. Temperatures went from 62 degrees to 69 degrees in some of the areas which were heavy. We benchmarked the card on some of the more popular games played these days. We start off with Dota 2, which gave us between 120 and 170 FPS with everything turned up at 1080p. It was smooth and we saw no lag. Then we have CSGO, which ran again very smoothly with everything turned up at 1080p. We got a comfortable 220 to 280 FPS on Dust 2, which is literally the only map we play. Needless to say, it was seamless and smooth and we had no complaints. Rocket League gave us a solid FPS of about 180 to 210. The FPS tanked to about 20 in the menu, but otherwise the game was nice and fast with all the settings turned up and VSync turned off at 1080p. The game is anyway well optimized, so we were not surprised. Rainbow Six Siege ran beautifully on the 1060 again, giving us an FPS of 100 to 115. You might think it's a little less for a shooter, but with all the settings on full, this isn't a bad deal. You could always play on a lower setting for that extra FPS, but why would you? The game looks great. GTA 5 ran on a smooth 60 with the graphics on very high, so all you gamers who are getting the 1060 to finally run GTA 5 on high graphics, rest assured your gaming experience will be satiated. H1Z1 King of the Kill is a game a lot of streamers play these days. This free-for-all last man standing game is a lot of fun to play and is generally pretty CPU demanding, but since we benchmarked on an i7 6700K, your mileage may vary depending on your processor. On ultra settings, we had frames between 80 and 130. The frames dropped down to 80 when other players were in view. Just Cause 3 is another game that looks really good on very high graphics at 1080p. We were getting a smooth 60 until the explosions gave us a nasty drop down to 35 and 45 frames per second. This could have been a driver issue, but we've noticed frame drops in Just Cause 3 during explosions in general. And finally, Witcher 3, the mother of all benchmarks, gave us 45 FPS on ultra, but on high we got a very smooth 60. This is obviously at 1080p. The good thing is this game looks fantastic in high, and I found the game quite unplayable on ultra settings. Please note that all these benchmarks were done on a base clock GTX 1060. At the end of the day, for around 24K, you're getting 980-esque performance. With the added durability that you get with the G1 gaming lineup, I think that it's more than worth the asking price. If you want a solid card to play games maxed out at 1080p, this should be one of the cards that you're looking at. But anyway guys, that's all for today. Thank you for watching. Do check out our XM300 gaming mouse review if you want more. This has been Venom from PC Peasants. Peace and happy gaming, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.